I want to have a conversation about what the men could be doing better to attract the type of woman that you actually want. You got to be somebody worth following if you want to lead. If she's going to follow you, you have to show her why you're worthy of leading, right? And the only way you can show a woman that you're worthy of following is by already having a good example of your life. Would you follow yourself as a man? It's like everybody looking for the same person, right? But do you have what it takes? Are you worthy to have something like that? Some of us asking for things that we can't afford. If a lot of people saying they want something, you ain't even doing nothing to get it. If you want to have a Proverbs 31 kind of woman, that means you got to be a Psalms 1 kind of man. Listen, if you're not trying to be a certain kind of man, don't ask for a Proverbs 31 kind of woman because you have no business being with her. Because whether you're a man or you're a woman, everybody planting some type of seeds, but everybody not going to be fruitful, right? It's the people that plant seeds in year 1, and then 5 years from now, you start to see the growth from that, right? You start to see something come from the soil. You got to have fruit that comes from the things that you planted. And the most undesirable people are people that have no fruit because they not planting nothing. They just running around, year 1 running around. 5 years later, the fruitful people, they done got better. 5 years later, the unfruitful people, they still confused, they still lost. If you're not a certain type of person, you're not qualified to ask for a certain type of person, bro. That's just simple math. Masculinity goes way deeper than just in the bedroom. But a lot of the time, a man is scared to be masculine with his woman outside of the bedroom because society has convinced a lot of men that if you let your nuts hang, that you're being a misogynist. It's never a wrong time to be masculine. It's never a wrong time to be assertive. It's never a wrong time because they like that shit. Be a leader, you have to teach, which is why a lot of the time, as a man, it's so important for you to become as great as you possibly can because while you're in the pursuit of becoming stronger and to becoming better, you're picking things up and you're learning things that could be valuable to the woman that's going to eventually be in your life. Yo, what's going on, man? This is another episode of the Halfway Up podcast, and I call it Halfway Up because you're never finished rising. It's like another way of saying it's not about the destination, but it's about the journey. And before we even get in today's conversation, as you see, we got some, if you're watching the YouTube, we got some products on the table right here, man. We have a company called King's Energy Only, and they specialize in the wellness brand. They sent me some pretty cool things, man. So what I have here is, I have two things. I have a candle called the Wind Down Candle. And it is a blend of organic musk, organic sandalwood, organic peppermint, organic vanilla essential oils. So you might want to light it. You might have a lady friend, you might have a guy friend, you might have somebody over in your life, somebody you want to, make feel comfortable, right? You want to give them the hospitality. So you can light this candle, and then it even comes with a playlist that you can play, bro. Also, it can burn for up to 105 hours, which is absolutely insane. I've been burning this down in my crib and at the workspace. I'm dealing with clients, people coming through, and I got this in the air. People love it. I love it. It's a huge candle, first of all, huge, right? I've been burning it for hours, and it's not even halfway empty. And then they sent me something else. They sent me a wind down room spray. Now, I love this one the most, me personally, because I can spray it throughout the house. You know what I mean? Maybe I haven't taken the trash out soon enough. And so sometimes you come home and the house kind of need like a little refresher, right? This is sandalwood, vanilla, and peppermint. It smells absolutely amazing. So I'm gonna spray a little bit of it right here. Can you hear in the microphone? Hold on, a little ASMR. Smells amazing, smells great. Listen, you gotta have good mental health practices, right? And what that means is having a clean space, having a house that smells good. And especially for my men, listen, the brand is called King's Energy Only, right? So if you plan on having women in your life, or you plan on entertaining a woman, bringing a woman back to your apartment, bringing a woman back to your space, it's a couple things you gotta have right. You gotta have refreshments, you gotta have some food, and you gotta have the house clean, and it has to smell good. Your house has to be clean and your house has to smell good if you want to make a woman comfortable, right? So this is for kings only. This is only for the kings, which is why the brand is called King's Energy Only. It's only for the kings. So for my kings out there, listen, support a local brand in New York City. I love it. And I want to say thank you to King's Energy Only so much. Not only am I giving them a shout out here, but I'm actually going to make some content with the stuff because I actually really like it. You know what I mean? So yeah, we got to get that out the way. Let's get into the topic of what this conversation is going to be about. This conversation is going to be about how to be the man that she submits to. That's what we're talking about. How to become the man that a woman would like to submit to, right? Because, in this gender war internet that we all sharing these days, in this manosphere, this red pill, whatever, all this energy, right? That's become probably one of the most highly consumed pieces of content or types of content in the things that you could be consuming, right? Something that people are always talking about is women submitting to men and women ain't this and women ain't that. And like, women are unruly and you can't control them. And it's like, man, women just so far off the beaten path. You get what I'm saying? Everything is about what the women could be doing better, right? But I want to have a conversation about what the men could be doing better to attract the type of woman that you actually want. Because too many times we having these conversations about the women that we don't like, right? Like every time I hear like a guy in the red pill or a guy in the manosphere have these conversations, it's not even to say that I can't even agree or understand some of the things that he's saying, but it's more so like, why are you wasting your time on women who not interested in what you're saying? Like, I don't know, maybe you're trying to be an evangelist. Maybe you're trying to get some people to pay attention to what you're saying in hopes to pull them from one side to the other one. Maybe that's your goal. Maybe that's your intention. But I got a better idea. How about you speak to the women that actually picking up what you putting down? You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather focus on women who already are aligned with how I feel about my life and what I expect from a relationship. I'd rather speak to them. And before I speak to the woman, I think the first thing we got to do is we got to talk to the men because, yeah, maybe there are some things that women could be doing to make their life better and to be better partners, but there's always things that we could be working on as men. It's always, you know what I mean? And if there's a guy out there and he's pointing the finger and looking at the woman like, yo, you could work on this and you can work on that, but he's also not pointing that finger back at himself, well, you got a little bit of manipulation going on right there. You know what I mean? Because it's no longer equally balanced. It's not fair. You get what I'm saying? So we always want to operate on a foundation of fairness as much as humanly possible. And that's why this episode is going to be about how to become the man that she submits to. That's what this episode is about. And I don't even want to take too long, man. I got a couple topics, as you know. If this is your first time on this podcast, what I usually do is I pick a topic, right? Today's topic is how to be a man she submits to. And then I go down some topics. I break the topic down into segments that I think we should attack to have deeper conversations, to go further in depth into why we're talking about this and how you can apply it. And to some men, maybe this doesn't apply. Maybe you don't need to hear this. Maybe some men don't need to hear this, but there are some men that do. You get what I'm saying? And this is for the guys. You know what I mean? This is some free game. It's some free information. It's some free wisdom because not everybody got like a big bro or a big homie or just somebody you can trust to give you like actual information that you can use when it comes to dating and having relationships and shit like that. I know I personally have a lot of conversations with young men, whether it be my cousin, other people that I know that are younger that don't know what I know. So they come and they ask me for advice. And I give them advice, and often, every single time, if we're being honest, they always come back and they tell me like, wow, that was really helpful. Thank you so much. So this is for people like that, right? And some of these, and it don't even got to be about being a young guy. You might be an older guy, and this still might be very insightful information to you. You know what I'm saying? So this is for y'all. And the first thing we got to talk about is you got to be somebody worth following if you want to lead. You have to be somebody worth following, right? Sometimes as a man, we have these conversations about wanting a woman to submit to you and expecting her to do what you tell her to do and expecting her to give you the final say on everything. But if I'm a woman and I'm looking at you and you're not doing no amazing shit in your life, you barely keeping your own life together as it is, you make bad decisions every single day, why should a woman feel inclined to follow a man if what she's seeing is nothing prosperous, right? Because it's kind of like a company, right? You don't sign up for a job unless the company making money. That's kind of the whole incentive. If you knew a company was hiring people, they were trying to hire you, but then they wasn't really making no bank, you wouldn't follow that company. You get what I'm saying? To become an employee is to become a follower of that company, to become a follower of that corporation. So it really shouldn't be no different between intimate relationships, right? If I'm expecting a woman to submit to me, and also, when we're talking about the topic of submission, I think there are moments where a man has to submit to a woman too. I do believe that maybe we submit in different ways for different reasons, but I think that we both should be playing our part in admitting when somebody should be taking the lead on something, right? Because nobody is just the best at absolutely everything. That's why God made us. That's why we have partnerships, right? Because your partner can take care of some of the things that maybe you're not so good at, you know what I mean? Or maybe some things that don't come so natural to you like it does to her. But if she's going to follow you, you have to show her why you're worthy of leading, right? And the only way you can show a woman that you're worthy of following is by already having a good example of your life. If you want a woman to follow you, your life should be the example already. A woman should be able to look at your life and be like, oh, he takes care of himself. He's good with his money. He loves his family. He's a believer in God. He's creative. He has a purpose. He has a passion. He wants to help people. You know what I'm saying? He's a fan of smart things and things that's gonna help him get further in life and not dumb shit. Because a lot of guys think because they tall or because they muscular or just because you got nuts, you think that that's the prerequisite to have a woman do whatever you tell her to do. And I'm gonna tell you something, maybe some girls in life that'll work with them. You know what I mean? Maybe some girls in life, just because you handsome and just because you attractive, that's all that's needed for her to submit to you, right? But if you want a woman, like a woman, somebody who, who's grown and who's lived life and somebody who's wise enough or somebody who has what it takes to go far as life is willing to take them, that person is probably gonna look at you and be like, if you don't got much going on, and then there's this whole conversation about dating potential, right? Some people maybe feel comfortable with dating potential, but listen, as a person who has tried to date potential before, I'm gonna tell you right now, me personally, for the women that say they don't want to date potential no more, I feel women on that. Now, it's not to say that if you see somebody and they genuinely have promise though, right? Like more than just potential, like if they have promise, like you see what they're working with right now, and then you can see that momentum actually going somewhere, maybe you want to give that a chance, right? Because you might have, and that's a blessing to be in a place in your life where you met somebody in the early stages of their thing, right? You might have met the next so-and-so, but you feel comfortable with that based off of what they doing with their time right now. It's kind of like getting a loan, right? Like a bank won't give you a loan if they see based off your credit history or just your history with your money that you don't even handle this well. So if you don't handle this well, then why would I ever feel comfortable with giving you more? It's the same thing in relationships. It's like, well, based off what you handle now, I can trust you to do more. Then you can date potential. But for the most part, I don't want to date nobody who not showing me that they have the potential and the promise to be greater women now, today. You get what I'm saying? So I think it's important to understand if you want a woman to follow you, you have to be showing her where it is that you're even going to be leading her. And the way you show her that, the first thing you do when a woman comes into your life and she gets past the looks, right? When a woman gets past the looks, when she gets past, okay, he's attractive, okay, the sex is great or whatever like that, but like, okay, he's attractive. Once a woman gets past you being attractive, what are you doing with your own life? Because men, I want you to understand that your life is the proof of concept. I want you to understand that if you're doing everything that you're supposed to do within your life, AKA before she got there, then by the time she get there, she ain't gonna have a problem doing nothing you talking about, for the most part. Understanding that you gotta leave a little space and grace for understanding that women are not a monolith, so that all women are not the same, bro. Like I know women that no matter what you say, there is no submission. That's just, they're not interested in that. And what I would say is that that's okay. You know what I mean? Like if there's a woman in your life and she's not into the idea of submitting at all, because once again, I told you, men have to submit to women too. It just looks different and it shows up in different ways. But if there's a woman in your life and she has no plans to submit, then you just need to grow comfortable with that idea and then understand that sometimes, maybe we are in each other's life for a moment, but maybe not for the distance. You know what I mean? Maybe not for the long haul, maybe not for the marathon. You get what I'm saying? And that's okay. You just got to grow comfortable with that. Sometimes people don't want the same things in life. But for the women that do, and trust and believe, there are a lot of women that would love to submit to a man that makes them feel safe enough and makes them feel comfortable enough. Because some women love the idea of traditional dynamics between men and women. Some women love that. You get what I'm saying? And if you're that type of guy who wants traditional dynamics, you can find that type of girl. I promise you she's out there. There's plenty of them. But the first thing you got to understand is you got to bring more than dick and looks. You have to. You got to bring more than just having some good dick and being attractive. You got to also be like a man of honor, a man of values, a man of integrity, a man of discipline. A lot of niggas don't be disciplined. A lot of niggas want to run the streets all day long. They want to fuck off their money all day long. They want to be everywhere but where they need to be to create a better future for tomorrow, today. You get what I'm saying? And if you're not that type of man, don't expect a woman to follow you, because where are you taking her? That's what I want you to understand. Like, listen, and I'm gonna keep it, before I even move on to the next point, I'm gonna keep it even realer than that. Would you follow yourself as a man? I mean the guy that you are today, the way you spend your money today, the things that you do with your time today, the type of people that you hang around today, the way that you live today. Would you follow you? If there was another version of you that was exactly the same way, but just with a different face, if that person was like, yo, I got this idea, I got this plan, man. I need you to follow me. I need you to give me the best of what you got to offer and just trust that I'm going to take us to the promised land. Based on how that person is living their life today, which is the way you live in your life, would you feel comfortable following that person? Because if you wouldn't, you got to get introspective about this shit sometimes. If you wouldn't, then why would you expect her to do the same? The second thing we got to talk about is, if you want respect, show her you respect yourself first. You got to show her that you respect yourself first. Too many times, there's this understanding about men and women, right? Where, first of all, everybody wants to be respected, right? And everybody wants to be loved. But sometimes when you're dealing with women, you realize women really crave love, right? Like, women really crave that intimacy, the sweet shit, the warm, cuddly, fuzzy shit. Like, women love that shit. And us as men, we got this testosterone, we got this masculinity, and we got these egos. We want to be respected. Because to men, power is how we feel value, right? Power is how we feel worth. Well, one of the biggest aspects of power is respect, for the most part. You know what I'm saying? And respect feels amazing when it comes from the woman that you're spending the most of your time with, when you're spending the most investments, and you invest in your energy, you invest in your finances, you invest in all that you have into a woman, and all that you want back from her is the respect, right? But also, you got to be honest with yourself, and you got to just be really truthful that if you want a woman to submit to you and you having a problem with her showing you respect, you got to ask yourself, do I have a problem with respecting myself too? You got to ask yourself, well, maybe it's because I have a problem with respecting myself. And sometimes respecting yourself is standing up for yourself, right? Sometimes respecting yourself is letting it be known like, hey, don't play with it, stay with it. These are certain things we going to do, and there's certain things that we not. And you got to stand on that. And that's another point we going to make later. So I'm not even going to go too deep into that right now. But understanding that when you respect yourself, see, a woman should come into what you got going on by the time you met her. By the time she walk into your life, you should already be having some momentum going into, at least, I should be able to tell based off of how I met you, where you gonna go. Because when people decide they want to have a partner, like if I see a woman and I decide I want to be in a relationship with her, I'm only making that choice not because of how cute and so how sexy she is today. I'm making that choice because I'm looking at the way she living her life right now, and I'm extrapolating that shit toward the future. You get what I'm saying? I'm looking at it like, okay, word, like the type of shit that she into, the type of shit that she do in her free time, the type of people she surround herself around, the type of shit that she, the type of entertainment she chooses, the type of information and knowledge she chooses to consume. Oh, that shit look good to me. That shit look real good to me. And you know what? Based off of that, I'm convinced. I'm curious. I want to see what this look like. I'm almost convinced that, oh, you treat yourself so well now, I know you're going to continue to treat yourself better in the future. I know that you're going to continue to do that. And that's why that's the type of shit that people got to see when they selecting a partner. When you selecting a mate, they have to exhibit the attributes of somebody that's going to continue to live a beautiful life with you. You get what I'm saying? Because I want my life to get better the older I get, not worse. And if I don't pick a partner that's showing me that they're capable of living a great life today, then I don't want to be with that person, because I know that there's a great chance that they're going to have all these issues and all these problems later in life. And I think that that's fair, So like, even though men really want respect from women, it's going to be hard to ask her that when we haven't impressed her or convinced her that we're worthy of it. Because in order to get respect from a woman, you have to impress her. You have to be living your life in such a, you got to be living your life in such an awesome way that when she come into your situation and she see what you already got going on before she got there, she got to be impressed, bro. She got to look at your life and be like, okay, he know how to handle his money. Oh shit, like he's a leader in his community. Oh, he got discipline. You know what I'm saying? He know how to stand up for himself. He know how to speak up for himself. He making sacrifices where it matter. He making investments. He look good. He dressed nice. He clothes himself very well. He keep his house clean. He take care of all his responsibilities. He care about his mom. He care about his dad. He care about his sister. He respects the earth. He respects the environment. You know what I mean? Like, and granted, every man is not for every woman's flavor. Every man is not every woman's type, right? So take what you need and take out what you don't need. But my point being is, like, a woman need to come into your situation and see you respecting yourself, right? You was already good before she got there. Not that you got so elevated once she came. There's nothing wrong with a woman coming into a man's life and investing her precious energy into him so that he can become more fruitful. Nothing wrong with that. But what I am saying is, do not expect her to respect you if you're not already doing things to show that you respect yourself. And the third thing that I want to say is, if you want to have a Proverbs 31 kind of woman, that means you got to be a Psalms 1 kind of man. It's like everybody looking for the same person, right? Everybody wants somebody with honor. Everybody wants somebody with integrity. Everybody wants somebody with values. Everybody wants somebody with discipline. Everybody wants this, right? But do you have what it takes? Are you worthy to have something like that? Some of us asking for things that we can't afford with our energy. Energetically, it's like, do I have what it takes to purchase the access to be able to experience a person who has these traits and these qualities? What am I doing in life to qualify for that? You get what I'm saying? A lot of us want to walk the stage and want to get degrees, and we ain't did the work in between. You trying to go straight from high school to college, and you ain't even went through freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year. And you trying to skip steps like you a prodigy or something like that. No, you got to show that you done learn some shit, bro. You know what I mean? You have to gain knowledge and wisdom and attributes. You know what I mean? To get a great person, you got to be qualified. You have to show that you already have greatness within your life. A lot of people saying they want something, you ain't even doing nothing to get it. You ain't even doing nothing to get what you asking for. And it goes vice versa too. Like if as a woman, if you want a Psalms 1 kind of man, you got to be a Proverbs 31 kind of woman. What does that mean? This is how you know when a woman is a Proverbs 31 kind of woman. She purpose driven. She focused on her goals. She focused on her growth. She not caught up in all the clout and all the trends, right? Not to the point where it's distracting her from doing what she's supposed to be doing. She brings peace. She ain't with all the drama. She ain't with all the smoke. She don't want no problems. She wants to get along. She wants to be happy. She's trying to collaborate. She not into destruction. She into unity, community. She make a man feel safe when he come around. She deal with things a certain kind of way. She know how to manage her emotions. She know how to manage her attitude. Her emotions don't always get the best of her. She wise. She saying things. She putting shit on your mind, opening your mind, helping you realize things you ain't even realize, right? She telling you things that's really helping you going out into the world and live a better life because of it. She's seeing people that surround you, and she like, you know what? You think them your friends, but they really not your friends. You know what I mean? She hearing things. She hearing shit off a podcast, and she's sending it to you like, yo, I want you to check this out because I think it's going to make you better. You get what I'm saying? That's what a Proverbs 31 kind of woman do in today's era. You know what I mean? She's seeing clips and she's seeing things that could be insightful to you. Or she met somebody who knows something that you need to know, and she help you create a connection between those two people. A Proverbs 31 kind of woman is somebody who is interested in growth and growing things. She all about nurturing shit. How can I help you, and how can I help myself, and how can I help the people around us that we care about? That's how you know you a Proverbs 31 kind of woman. But you cannot ask for that if you are not a Psalms 1 kind of man. Listen, if you're not trying to be a certain kind of man, don't ask for a Proverbs 31 kind of woman because you have no business being with her. A Psalms 1 kind of man is somebody who rooted in something bigger than himself, right? He living his life for a mission. He got a purpose. He know where he going. He just trying to figure out how he gonna get there. Every single day, he taking the steps he can to get exactly to where that place is, right? He got principles. He got morals, values. He not with the rah-rah shit. He ain't with the goofy shit. He ain't with the gossip. He ain't with the chaos. He ain't with none of that shit, bro. He stay calm under pressure. Listen, when push come to shove, he not moving. He's staying rooted and he's staying firm in what he believe in because he got values. He got a foundation, and he's been spending his whole life building his foundation. So when somebody come around trying to tell him something that it ain't, trying to tell you fat meat ain't greasy, trying to tell you it's shit when it's really something else, he not being fooled by that. He not finessed by nothing that the enemy try to say to bring his life to confusion. He know how to keep his calm. He know how to control his temper. He know how to articulate himself. He know how to use his resources. He know how to ask for help when he need it. He understand he ain't competing with nobody because the man that he is can never be in competition with somebody that's not him. He's a fan of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Grits and Eggs podcast. He gonna do the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? He trying to get that information. He trying to get the wisdom. He trying to, whatever he don't know, he trying to learn what he can so he can become it, so that he could get there. Whatever he needs to work on, he doing what he can to make that happen. That's a Psalms 1 kind of man. This is a great man. This is a man who's interested in bringing everybody with him. Not only be a great person to his woman, be a great person to his community, his brother, his sister, his homies, the people that care for him. He just trying to gain power so he can care for them. You can see that based off of how he lived his life, based off of the things that he believed, you see what come from it, right? He believed in honor and integrity. You see the gifts and the fruits of the labor that come from that, right? Because we all planting seeds. Because whether you're a man or you're a woman, everybody planting some type of seeds, but everybody not going to be fruitful, right? It's the people that plant seeds in year 1, and then 5 years from now, you start to see the growth from that, right? You start to see something come from the soil. You start to see fruit actually come from that tree, something that you can pick off the vine and you can eat or you can give to somebody else. Whether that's wisdom, whether that's knowledge, whether that's actual financial resources, no matter what that is, right? You got to have fruit that comes from the things that you planted. And the most undesirable people are people that have no fruit because they not planting nothing. They just running around. Year one running around. 5 years later, the fruitful people, they done got better. 5 years later, the unfruitful people, they still confused. They still lost. If you're not a certain type of person, you're not qualified to ask for a certain type of person, bro. That's just simple math. Now listen, guys, the fourth thing that I want you to understand is that masculinity goes way deeper than just in the bedroom. Because a lot of men, right, when it come time to you pleasing a woman in a sexual kind of way, you know how to be the man then, right? You know how to bring the best of your testosterone. You know how to bring the best of your masculinity. You know how to bring the best of your dominance when it comes to dominating her, when it comes to pleasing a woman, right? You know how to bring the best of that. Niggas know how to do that. Niggas have no problem with knowing how to be the man when it comes to sex and intimacy, right? But sex and intimacy is such a small part of your life in comparison to you living your life being a man, the rest of it, right? When you out here in these streets, when you in the classroom, when you in your job, when you on your way to work, when you in church, when you in the school, when you in the bank, when you in every other place, when sex and intimacy is not when you in every other place of your life where sex and intimacy is not permitted and is not allowed, right? That's when it means the most to show that you a man, right? And you do that by what? Your values, your honor, your integrity, your discipline, your determination. This is how you show to the world, and more importantly, how you show to yourself that you a real man and that you are the person that you claim to be. You get what I'm saying? We can't just allow ourselves to feel like men when it comes to pleasing a woman. You get what I'm saying? Because that's such a small percentage of our life. And let me tell you something. A lot of the reason why a lot of guys can't find the respect from their woman they're looking for, because they only know how to actually be proud to be a man when it comes to putting their ass to sleep at night. When it comes to putting her to sleep, when it comes to rocking her to bed, then you know how to be a man. Then you know how to like be aggressive and assertive where it matters. Because a lot of the time as men, we abuse our power when we swing our chest around at women. You know what I'm saying? When we raising our voice at women, when we talking down at women, we abusing our power because we so much more naturally aggressive to them. Now, I'm not saying that if she did something fucked up that you can't address it. And I'm not saying that if she did something that was wrong, that you can't call it out. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you just, and listen, at the end of the day, when you passionate, you passionate. That's just, we was meant to be that way. You know what I'm saying? We passionate people. We real King Kong with it when we really feeling that way. You know what I mean? When we in that mode. But understanding that it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And I'm going to always say that's the first step to having success with any woman in life. Is the first thing you got to do is you got to understand that it's not what you do, but it's how you do it. And instead of you being comfortable with being this aggressive and this masculine man when it comes to being in the bedroom, you got to be that guy at all times, man. Because a lot of the time, the reason why a guy feel like he not getting the respect he want from his girl is because when it comes to real life shit, you don't command the same respect. A lot of the time when it comes to real life world situations, real world scenarios, you don't know how to be the man, right? Some of you guys either do too much or some of you do too little. When you're doing too much, you know, you yelling and you screaming and you throwing tantrums and you really acting like one of the girls, to be honest with you, right? You're doing too much. And when you're doing too little, you don't know how to be assertive where it matters. And we're going to cover that topic too. You don't know how to be assertive where it matters. You know what I'm saying? You don't know when is the right time to be aggressive. When is the right time to be masculine? When is the right time to be confident? You know what I'm saying? Like, and the right time is always. It's never a wrong time to be those things. But a lot of the time, and I'm going to give my guys a little grace because sometimes as men, we feel like, you know, sometimes men don't understand that women really crave masculinity. They desire that shit. Just the same way we attracted to femininity, the same way we see a woman and she in her feminine energy and she's soft and she's smooth and she's beautiful and we love her. We crave that shit. Women crave masculinity. They love that shit. Love that shit, bro. You get what I'm saying? So understanding that it's never a wrong time to be masculine. It's never a wrong time to be assertive. It's never a wrong time because they like that shit. They like being put in their place sometimes. They like when you stand up for yourself sometimes. They like when you tell them, we ain't doing this. They like when you say what you mean and mean what you say. They like that shit because it make them feel safe. Because it make them feel like, if he ain't going to play with himself, I know he ain't going to play with us. If he willing to respect himself, then I know he willing to respect me. And he's somebody is worthy of me following, right? Because his life is proof of concept enough. We already covered this. We covered this already. But a lot of the time, a man is scared to be masculine with his woman outside of the bedroom because society has convinced a lot of men that if you let your nuts hang, that you're being a misogynist. Society has convinced a lot of men that if you put your chest out and you let your testosterone show and you assertive and you aggressive where it matters, right? Not out of proper context, but within proper context, a lot of men think that that means you one of the bad guys. I want to let you know that same energy that you shine away from, somebody out there love that shit. Women love that shit. You got to think, if we love femininity, then wouldn't a woman who's into heterosexual relationships love masculinity? She crave that shit, bro. That shit is like a magnet, bro. Women don't want to be with a guy who gives off the impression that she can't be protected or she can't at least be safe with him, right? And it's not to say that every man got to be out here ready to put his hands on something, but it is to say that you got to be somebody who willing to work this mind, though. Pause. But you got to be somebody who's a fan of intelligence. Every man got to be a thinker. Every man got to be somebody who thinking about how he can get the best outcome out of every situation, no matter what it is. High risk, low risk, middle risk, it don't matter. You got to be a thinker. You got to prove that to a woman. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand that, like, don't just be the man when it comes to being in the bedroom. Be the man in all areas of life, because that's how you get her to respect you. If she feel like no matter where we go, he ain't gonna let nobody disrespect us. No matter where he go, he ain't gonna let nobody play us. No matter where we go, he gonna always make sure I'm good. He gonna always care about me. He gonna always care about my feelings. He gonna always care about my emotions. Within proper context, she's gonna submit to you. She's gonna respect you. She's gonna respect you, bro. And the first thing you gotta do is you gotta understand, like, listen, don't just be the man in the bedroom, man. Be the man everywhere. Be the man everywhere. And I understand that sometimes society has convinced a lot of us in thinking that, like, oh, we're being part of the problem if we show dominant energy. But I want you to know, a lot of women, they like that shit. They like a man to be dominant. They like a man to have dominant energy, right? Because they make them feel safe. You know what I mean? They make them feel good. They want to be a passenger princess, a lot of girls. You know what I'm saying? They want to know that if I took my hand off the wheel, could I trust you to have it? That's what it means to be a masculine man in all the areas of life. If I took my hands off the wheel, metaphorically, with the money, with the house, with the kids, with everything, with my well-being as a woman, can I trust you to get us where we need to go safely? Can I trust you to do that? And it has to be more than just in the bedroom. Like, yeah, you can lay it down. Yeah, maybe you can get her to get her rocks off. And yeah, that's good. That's good. Listen, I don't want to make no mistakes about it. I don't want no misunderstandings. I don't want no confusion. That's good. But there's more. You got to finish doing the work. And the first thing you got to understand is that letting your testosterone show, letting your masculinity show, letting your assertiveness show, don't make you a bad guy. Bad guys are bad guys. It's that simple. There's no way for me to misunderstand you for being a bad guy if you don't show up as the bad guy. Now, if you're dealing with a woman and she don't know how to deal with that assertion, she don't know how to deal with that energy, because some women, they just gonna get it and it's a natural instinct to them. Like, as soon as you pop out and you letting everybody know that you the man, you letting her know that you the man, you being assertive about what you want and what it's gonna be, a lot of women gonna be like, oh, okay. You ever seen A Different World? When my man let her know, like, hey, we ain't doing this. She got together real quick. I'm gonna drop the clip when I drop the reel. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna drop that clip. She got together real quick because women enjoy that energy. They're naturally attracted to it. So I'm saying this for the guys that if you're afraid of letting that energy show, because it's in all men, it's in you. Maybe it's in more guys, pause, than it is other guys, but you know, that's a natural part of who you are. It's part of your birthright, man, to be somebody who has a desire to rule. At least your own kingdom. You deserve to rule at least that. Yeah, so just understand that masculinity goes deeper than when you're in the bedroom. And the last thing that we're going to make, the last point we're going to talk about this is that if you want to be a leader, that means you have to teach. I seen a really great clip from my guys at the Daily Wrap-Up Crew podcast, right? And the clip was this girl, and she was saying that, like, you know, there's a misconception when it comes to men leading women, right? Because men, for the most part, are naturally way more emotionally stable, or a lot more logical, a lot more capable of seeing things from a very black and white view. And there's a lot of benefits that come from that. Obviously, there's huge benefits that come from women being deep empaths, right? They have deep empathy. They just feel on a higher spectrum than us. I think I heard somebody say one time that women see more colors and women hear more frequencies, right? In decibels and shit like that. So women are designed to experience life on a much more deeper way. But there's also benefits that come from us being as men. That's why men are fit to be leaders, because we see shit as neutral as humanly possible. When you're being a great man, you got to see things neutral, right down the middle, as much as you can, right? And the lady was saying in the clip that like sometimes as a woman, we need to be taught something 5 or 7 times because nobody has put us on game before. You get what I'm saying? Nobody has showed us the way before. Nobody broke it down to us like that before. My last ex was nothing like this. You trying to teach me shit now. Now you're trying to introduce concepts to me and you actually care about the way that I feel. And as a woman, I don't actually know how to deal with that. I'm actually ashamed to admit that this might be the first time I've actually dealt with this healthy of a guy. And it kind of, I don't know what to do with it. You know what I mean? Because my reality since before you got here has been nothing like this. That's a lot of women's story. And I say that to say that as a man, sometimes you got to be in a position, you got to teach a woman if you want her to follow you. That means you got to put her on game. That means you got to be patient with her. You got to have a whole lot of patience. Listen, if you want to be a teacher to a woman, you got to have a lot of patience because you got to understand that based on how she's lived her life until you came into the picture, she's been doing things one kind of way. The information and the wisdom that she has gathered so far, this has done her good to even get to this place. But now you might represent a new level that she kind of got to make some changes for. You know what I'm saying? Because we should both be feeling that way. When you get into a new relationship, you should be walking into that relationship feeling like, you know what? There's some old ways about myself that's not going to serve the new me. So I got to get rid of those things. But this is my advice for the men specifically, and when it comes to the conversation of how to be the man that a woman wants to submit to. And the first thing you got to understand is that you're going to have to teach and understand that teachers got to be patient with their students. It's easy to get upset with a woman. It's easy to lose your patience with a woman, especially when you can't continue to repeat the same thing. And you think, because you know that she's smart. You know that she's smart enough. You know that she's intelligent enough to get the information that you've given her. But sometimes it takes people time to really implement that shit in like real world practices. You get what I'm saying? Like first, it got to be a theory first. Let them chew on it, let them marinate on it, and then eventually, right? It should find its way into practice. Now, I'm not the person to tell you how long that's supposed to take because everybody's different. And one thing I want to say to the men is, you know what I'm saying, try to lead with as much empathy and grace as possible. Listen, if you got a good woman on your hands, you know what a bad woman is, man. We on the internet, we deal with people in the workspaces, we at the club, we in all these different environments, we moving and grooving through these rooms, and you know what you don't like. You see the qualities that you don't care for when it comes to women and dating and relationships. You see that, right? So if you got a girl and majority of those things that you done seen in the world, she don't have them problems, she's worth the patience, bro. She's worth the training and she's worth the time. And trust and believe there will be a time where she got to teach you too. There will be a time where there will be something that might be difficult for you to get, and you're going to want that same grace that you should be extending her. You know what I mean? Understanding that nobody is perfect, but if there's a willingness to do better, if a girl is willing to acknowledge, like, you know what, you're right. I see what you're saying. Maybe she don't acknowledge it right away. You know what I mean? But if she can get to a place, though, where she can acknowledge that, you know what, I see where I'm fucking up and I see where I could be doing better, then honestly, bro, you probably got a real great woman on your hands, man. And she's willing to learn. You know what I mean? A woman that's willing to learn, we can go far. Be a leader, you have to teach, which is why a lot of the time as a man, it's so important for you to become as great as you possibly can, because while you're in the pursuit of becoming stronger and to becoming better, you're picking things up and you're learning things that could be valuable to the woman that's going to eventually be in your life. While you're on your journey and you're going through tough times, when you're going through challenging moments, when you're going through those moments of feeling alone and, you know, you don't want to slip into your old ways of hanging out with those old people because you're trying to become something new, but at the same time, you still have needs that need to be met and they need to be fulfilled, right? While you're becoming that person, these are things that are giving you the wisdom and the knowledge to be the right guy to the right woman one day. You just might not realize it yet, right? But everything that you're going through right now, every lesson, every loss, every victory, every accomplishment, these are things that are making you qualified to be the teacher to a woman who can learn from you. These are the things that are making you qualified to become the man that she submits to, the man that she believes is worthy of following, because you're leading her somewhere special. You're leading her somewhere safe. You've shown her that you're a good partner, and you showed her that all the things that she wants out of life, you want that and more. You get what I'm saying? This is how you make a woman feel comfortable with submitting to you. And you have to be able to teach, which means you got to know something she don't know. Women are very smart. Women doing a whole lot of reps. They getting a whole lot of advancements, a whole lot of progress going on with the ladies. You know what I'm saying? They doing their big ones out here. So you got to make sure that you definitely doing yours, because if not, then you kind of coming to the table empty-handed. You kind of coming to the table with nothing to show, nothing to prove, nothing to offer. You know what I mean? And one of the best things a man can offer a woman is guidance. But you got to have lived the life to give that, though. You got to have done everything that you need to do, not to be perfect, but to make sure that you're definitely doing the things that you need to do so that you can be a teacher to that woman. You get what I'm saying? Listen, that's today's episode, man. How to be the type of man that a woman submits to. I really want to give a shout out to King's Energy Only, man, for giving me this beautiful candle. It's 100% natural, handcrafted, Bronx made. Listen, I don't know where you getting your candles at, but at King's Energy Only, they get it made in the Bronx, the birth of hip hop. Some of the greatest legends to ever touch a microphone. You get what I'm saying? Come from the Bronx. Burns for up to 105 hours. Do you know what you can do with that, man? You can listen, this is what I suggest you do. Invite your shorty over. Had a candle burning before she get there. Probably like 30 minutes to an hour before she get there. So by the time she come through the door, she already feel comfortable. She like, you know what? This nigga not dirty. It smells good in here. Make her a little meal. You know what I'm saying? When you go to the bathroom, have this burning in the living room, and then in the bathroom, spray this. Spray this. Hold on, for the ASMR. Spray this in the bathroom. Have it smelling good. Because you know the first thing a woman gonna do when she come into your house, she gonna go straight to the bathroom because she gotta look in the mirror. She gotta make sure she look good. You know, she gotta make her little adjustments and stuff like that. Have this in the air already. Because when it smell good, a woman gonna be like, all right, check one. The man's not nasty. You know what I mean? He passed step number one. That's very important, man. Check their website out, man. Go find something that you like. I'm sure at some point we can get like a little promotion code or something like that. We can make that happen. But as of right now, man, support a good brand. Everything is very quality made. It looks very good. It even look good just being, you know what I'm saying, just sitting there. It just make it look like you care about yourself, man. Because remember, if you want a woman to respect you, you got to show her that you respect yourself. Hey, man, this is Wolf Taylor. I love you guys. Please leave a rating and review. Summer is here, man. The weather's going to be great, so I'm going to be giving you great information, great knowledge. I got a lot of places to travel to, man. I'm going to be going to L.A. in August. I got invited to go out to L.A. People asking me to be guests on their shows again. You know what I mean? I just did a virtual podcast. Shout out my man, Kevin Thornton, Coach Kevin. You know what I mean? Shout out to him. I really appreciate you, man. Thornton, I'm sorry if I didn't say that right. And yeah, man, we just going to be kicking real shit all year long. Trying to make the women feel more comfortable with the men, trying to make the men feel more comfortable with the ladies. You know, we're going to be doing what we got to do, man. So you already know the mantra, the outro, the religion, the spirit of the brand. Whenever I'm working, I will remember that done is better than perfect. And if I'm satisfied with my work, then that means that I'm living in my purpose, man. Halfway up. Peace.